Sourav Ganguly, former India captain, the 2003 World Cup finalist, is joining us with our consulting editor, Boria Majumdar. Boria, take it away. Sourav must be jubilant himself. The record stays intact. Our hashtag now is India 6, Pak nil.
Shivani says you must be jubilant, and the hashtag now says India 6, Pak nil. Fire away.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's not going to change for a while if Pakistan keep playing like this. You know, it's become a one-sided affair for a while now, and I'm not surprised. I'm sure you were there with us, Shivani, yesterday, and you know, we were talking to Ramesh. Ramesh was with us, and we were discussing that he felt that Pakistan and India were even Stevens at the start of the game, which I didn't feel at all, and I didn't agree with him. Because they're two completely different sides. Pakistan, with this batting lineup, I don't think they can chase against good attacks. India batted outstandingly today to get to 300, and once they went past 240, it was very difficult for Pakistan to win this game.
Sort of word on Virat. I mean, yes, he was under a lot of pressure going into this competition. You know, not the great tri-series. Word on Virat, 107 man of the match.
He's exceptional, you know. He's been an exceptional player for a while. You know, he probably wants to travel with the Adelaide pitch all around, because this is his fourth 100 in this surface. His first Test 100 came in Adelaide, back-to-back hundreds in Adelaide in the Test match, and now again. And what stands out for me is his ability to rise to the big occasion. You know, when India needed it in the second innings in the Test match against Australia, he nearly won it for them. And today again, when India were 54 for 1, a wicket there, or Virat Kohli could have actually stopped India from getting 300. They would have finished with probably 250, 260, and once again he got 100, which actually didn't look under any pressure at all right throughout the knock. And that's where his greatness is, his ability. And it's not just his ability, it's his competitiveness, it's his passion, it's his hunger to deliver in big games has stood out amongst everyone.
And the word on Suresh Raina, I mean, he was exceptional too. I mean, that 70-odd or 50-odd balls. Even when Virat was tiring a bit, Suresh Raina was exceptional, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. And I think Pakistan made a mistake there. Too much of spin early on in Suresh Raina's innings. You know, any other side in world cricket is only going to just bring in pace against Suresh Raina. And Pakistan will have to relook at the composition of the side. They played two spinners, which I don't think was a good option against India, especially when you know your number 5, number 6 are Raina and Dhoni, who against spin will hit you anywhere all day long. So they made a few mistakes, but to be honest, they don't have the ammunition in them, the firepower in them to get past India. And as I said, I'm not surprised with the result.
Shivani and Rajdeep in the studio. Shivani, you have a question. Rajdeep, you have a question for Sourav? Fire away.
You know, there is another fact, and as we celebrate Virat Kohli, in particular, Boria, man of the match, he is the first Indian, if I'm not mistaken, to score a century. He's the first Indian to score a century now against Pakistan in a World Cup match. I don't think there has been an Indian.
He is. He is the first Indian.
He's the first
against
Indian.
Pakistan.
So where does Sourav see Virat in the, you know, in the larger scheme of things? Are we now in a position to call Virat the finest one-day batsman that India has produced? And about Virat and Suresh Raina, the sense we get is to win this World Cup, our bowlers have to come to the party, and today they did. Umesh Yadav, Shami, Jadeja and Ashwin. How do you see the bowling? Was that the big difference today that really ensured such a comfortable win?
You know, I think it was also about the Pakistani batting and the fragility of the Pakistani batting. I'll pose that question to Sourav straight away before I sort of giving my opinion. Rajdeep is asking that, you know, to win the World Cup, our bowlers have to come to the party. Today, Ashwin, Shami, Umesh and people did. But is it about India's bowling that they actually bowled very well, or is it also about Pakistani batting?
I think it's the big score which India put up. When you score 300, your bowling looks good. You know, because the batsmen will have to take chances against you. That's why many teams, or most of the teams who get more than 300, don't lose many matches. Exceptionally, once or twice they would lose, but the opposition will need to have a very, very good batting lineup. So it's first the big score. Secondly, the fragileness of the Pakistani batting. When you look at the batting side of Pakistan and when you compare with the batting side 10 years ago, you just don't see any quality player. You know, Shehzad, Yunus Khan, Misbah, none of them would have walked into that Pakistani side 10-15 years ago when they had Saeed Anwar, Amir Sohail, Inzamam ul Haq, Yusuf, Yuhana, you name it. Not many would have walked into that Pakistan one-day team. So it's the fragility of the Pakistan team. It's a team, Pakistan, which is in disarray, and with all due respect, you know, India-Pakistan contest is one of the biggest contests in sport, and we want a competitive Pakistan side to play against India, but that's not been the case, and I'm not surprised with the results. And every time India gets 300 against Pakistan, and actually, you know, if you would have heard me at the pre-show, I give them a total of 230, 240, and I felt 300 was too many.
I actually vindicate that. In fact, the moment the Indian innings got over and when we started our mid-inning show, Shivani, I said it will be India. I actually asked Sourav, what do you think Pakistan will score? And he said 230. You know, Pakistan fell short of that. So he, from the very start, was saying this Pakistan team has no chance of getting any close to 300. Rajdeep and Shivani, over to you. Any question for Sourav?
Is there any bowler who stood out for you? Is there any bowler, just like Virat possibly and Raina, who played a remarkable innings, and, you know, Shikhar coming back to form? Was there a bowler who you thought is now sort of getting into the groove where he could be that key bowler, particularly in the death, which has been our big problem?
For me, Ashwin was brilliant. I mean, to bowl 3 maiden overs in the first 6 against a team that traditionally plays spin bowling decently for 15 runs, you know, one of which went for 9, I thought was exceptional. He was giving flight, loop, he was bowling well. Any bowler for you stood out? Rajdeep's question?
I think Mohammad Shami was very good. He bowled exceptionally well. Umesh Yadav in his second spell, when he got the wicket of Ahmed Shehzad and Shoaib Maqsood in 1 over, I thought he bowled very well. I think the entire Indian bowling unit, Ashwin was probably the best of all the bowlers. I think it's between Mohammad Shami and Ravi Chandran Ashwin. But once again, I say, once India won the toss, they had won 50% of the game. And once they scored 300, they had won the game completely.
But, you know, against a quality batting lineup, I could hear Rajdeep actually ask that question before. Against a quality batting lineup like South Africa, today they got 339 from 80 for 4. Will this bowling unit stand up? I mean, you still have, they've not been tested.
Yeah, why not? I don't see it's not happening. Yes, South Africa will pose a lot more threat than Pakistan did. South Africa is a side which has a much better fast bowling attack, a lot more depth in their batting, and more so, a side which has players who think correctly in big matches. When you look at this Pakistan team, other than Misbah and to a certain extent Yunus Khan, I don't think some of them are ready for these big games mentally, because India-Pakistan games is not just about technique, it's not just about ability or scoring runs. Big games is about the right word is to approach the game properly, to have the right mindset to go through those pressure periods. We will have to identify the periods where we will be under pressure, and Pakistan lost 2 of those periods in this game. When Virat Kohli came in, they should have attacked a lot more to Virat Kohli and try and get him out, because they knew, everyone in the world knows that when he gets runs, India wins. Secondly, when Suresh Raina came in, that left-arm part-time bowler Haris Sohail kept bowling, the leg spinner kept bowling, Shahid Afridi kept bowling. You know, you take South Africa, Suresh Raina comes in at number 5, you will only see pace bowling, you'll only see short stuff. So there is a lot of problem in the way Pakistan thought about this game, and you could see a side which lacked belief. We could see a side which was expecting things to happen rather than things to happen. I said at the start of the World Cup that the India-Pakistan game is going to be different, because India will not be playing Australia all the time in Australia. For the last 2 months, they've been under the pump of Australia, who are a terrific side. You saw the way they went past England in the last game. And when India came to Pakistan, they were a much better team on paper, much better team qualitatively, much better team in terms of leadership, because that makes a big difference in big games. And MS Dhoni is a much better leader in the shorter format than Misbah-ul-Haq, and it makes a massive difference.
Let me ask you one question before I throw it to Shivani back in the studio. I mean, in 2011, Sachin Tendulkar dropped 4 times. Today, Virat Kohli dropped 3 times. That too makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
Absolutely, it makes a massive difference. As I said, ready for the big game, mentally ready for the big game. It's that belief that when an outside edge comes under pressure, I will go and catch it. And I don't see that happening in this Pakistan team many a time. You talk about Irfan. You know, come a pressure, just in bowl the right areas to the batsman, whether it's Suresh Raina, whether it's Virat Kohli. And Virat Kohli got 100 without any pressure. They just kept rotating. Pakistan knew that in this pitch, the middle overs would be very crucial, and they allowed India to get 6 runs and over. And once you get 6 runs and over without losing wickets and without taking much chances, come the power play and come the last 10, they would score plenty. I thought Pakistan bowled exceptionally well in the last 5 overs. Otherwise, this game would have gone to 330.
Shivani, back to you in the studio.